Hey GarageBand fans, it's Dr. Scott Watson with a quick tutorial on how to do meter change or time signature change in GarageBand. First of all, GarageBand doesn't actually facilitate changing meter. You'd have to go up to a higher level DAW or digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or Logic to get that feature. But there is a workaround, and that's what I want to show you in this video. So GarageBand does a great job if you're just in 4/4, you're in the same meter for a long time, or 6/8, and all the loops and everything work. But if you want to change meter, the workaround I'm going to propose is that you create a tempo map outside of GarageBand using a MIDI app like, I'm going to use Finale, but you could use Sibelius or any other MIDI app that you have access to. Even Noteflight, the online music notation app, allows for meter change and can export MIDI files. So that's the idea, is we're going to create the tempo map for our project outside of GarageBand, save it as a MIDI file, then import that MIDI file into GarageBand. All right, let's get started. We're going to set up an empty project in 4/4. I'm going to go with the key of C, a lot of these defaults here, just because I don't have a particular project in mind. And so here we go. I'm going to hide the instrument library, hide the smart controls, so you can just see the tempo map here is in 4/4. Okay, now outside of GarageBand, I'm going to open up Finale, the music notation app that I use most. But again, you can use any music notation app that works for you. And we're just going to set up a default document. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert meter changes using the tools in Finale. So let's go to 7/8. And then let's go back to 4/4, right? And then let's go to 5/8. And we'll just keep doing this. We'll put in a bunch of meter changes so you can see how this works. And again, don't worry about how I'm doing it here. I'm just using Finale because that's the app that I'm most comfortable with that does allow for MIDI changes. Okay, so now I've created my tempo map in Finale, which has it going from 4/4 to 7/8, back to 4/4 to 5/8, then 3/8, then 4/4, then 7/8, and then a couple measures of 4/4, just so you can see that all of those things track when I import it into GarageBand. So we're going to go ahead, export this as a MIDI file. Okay, there are a lot of options depending on the app used, but MIDI file is what you want. Now, here I'm going to just call it tempo map for GarageBand. I'll just call it tempo map example. How about that? And then save it on the desktop. And where it asks you if you want to call it a tempo map, believe it or not, I know for the in Finale it actually works better if I just say don't save it as a tempo map, just save it as a MIDI file. So I advise Finale users just do exactly what I'm doing here, format 1, and just say okay. Okay, and then we're going to look out on the desktop for the tempo map. Now this is a MIDI file, and I'm going to drag and drop it right in the track window, and we're going to say, yeah, import the tempo. And there it is. Now, if we zoom in, you can notice that the first measure is 4/4, then it's 7/8, then 4/4, then 5/8, then 3/8, back to 4/4, 7/8, 4/4. In fact, let's go ahead and play the metronome along with it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now, this little thing down here you can get rid of. In fact, you can set up whatever other tracks you want so that if you were going to go ahead and record music to that metronome, you'd be all set. If I want to do it with a piano, I'm good to go, but I don't have to do it with a piano. One thing you should note when using loops with meter change or time signature change is that most of GarageBand's loops are set up for 4/4 time. So you can drag a 4/4 loop into a measure of 4/4. But then if you try to drag it into a measure of 7/8, it's actually going to be, a little bit too long. It's not going to line up. You can see it goes over the measure. You'd have to, I guess, drag it. You resize the loop, but for the 4/4 measures, it'll work just fine. So just something to be aware of. But you can actually do meter change or time signature change with GarageBand by creating a tempo map outside of GarageBand. Good luck with your projects.